Section 1. A Dark Day in Wrestling, written by Mick Foley. The world of professional wrestling was shaken to its core on June 25, 2007. News broke of a horrific double murder-suicide involving one of its most celebrated stars, Benoit. The wrestling community and fans worldwide grappled with shock, disbelief, and profound sadness. The man, known for his in-ring intensity and technical prowess, had committed an unspeakable act, taking the lives of his wife, Nancy, and their 7-year-old son, Daniel, before ending his own. The tragedy sent shockwaves through the industry, leaving an indelible mark on its history. The Benoit family tragedy transcended the realm of sports, becoming a major news story. The brutality of the crime and the involvement of a renowned athlete left many struggling to comprehend what had transpired. It sparked widespread discussions about the physical and mental demands of professional wrestling, the potential role of brain trauma, and the importance of mental health awareness. Benoit's legacy became forever intertwined with this horrific act. His accomplishments in the ring, once celebrated, were now overshadowed by the darkness of his final days. The wrestling world mourned the loss of Nancy and Daniel, two innocent victims whose lives were tragically cut short. The Benoit tragedy served as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the devastating consequences of unchecked aggression and mental instability. The events of that fateful June shook the foundation of professional wrestling, forcing a long overdue conversation about athlete well-being, safety protocols, and the industry's responsibility to its performers. The Benoit tragedy remains a haunting reminder of the importance of recognizing and addressing mental health issues, both inside and outside the wrestling ring. Section 2. Unraveling the tragedy. A timeline. The events leading up to the discovery of the Benoit family's bodies paint a chilling picture of a tragedy unfolding over a weekend. The timeline provides a glimpse into the final days of the Benoit family, revealing a series of missed opportunities and miscommunications that ultimately culminated in unimaginable tragedy. On Friday, June 22, 2007, Benoit was scheduled to wrestle at a WWE event but contacted the company, citing a family emergency. This last-minute change raised concerns, as Benoit was known for his professionalism and rarely missed scheduled appearances. Over the next 2 days, Benoit sent a series of text messages and voicemails to friends and colleagues, some of which contained strange and out-of-character remarks. By Sunday, June 24th, concern for the Benoit family had escalated. WWE officials, alarmed by the unusual communications and Benoit's absence, requested a welfare check at the family's residence in Fayetteville, Georgia. Local authorities entered the home on Monday, June 25th, to discover a scene of unimaginable horror. Nancy Benoit was found dead in an upstairs bedroom, her hands and feet bound. Young Daniel's body was discovered in his bedroom, having suffered a similar fate. Benoit's body was found in the weight room, having taken his own life. The discovery sent shockwaves through the wrestling world and beyond. The timeline of events, once pieced together, revealed a gradual descent into darkness, culminating in a horrific act of violence that left countless lives shattered. The tragedy left many questioning what could have been done to prevent such a devastating outcome, and what signs might have been missed in the days leading up to the murders. Section 3. The Perfect Storm, exploring the motives. The horrific actions of Benoit left the world grappling with a haunting question: why? What could drive a seemingly successful athlete, husband, and father to commit such a horrific act? While no definitive answer exists, investigations and subsequent studies have shed light on a complex interplay of factors that likely contributed to the tragedy. One prominent theory centers around chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, a degenerative brain disease found in individuals with a history of repeated head trauma. Benoit's career, marked by his high-impact wrestling style, exposed him to countless concussions and subconcussive blows to the head. Post-mortem analysis of Benoit's brain revealed severe CTE, suggesting a potential link between his brain damage and his altered mental state. Adding to the complexity of the case was evidence of steroid use. Benoit's history with performance-enhancing drugs, a problem prevalent in the wrestling industry at the time, raised concerns about the potential role of steroid-induced rage and aggression in his actions. The combination of CTE, potential steroid abuse, and the demanding lifestyle of a professional wrestler created a volatile mix that likely played a role in Benoit's unraveling. Beyond the physical toll, Benoit's personal life was also under scrutiny. Some reports suggested marital problems and Benoit's struggle to cope with the demands of his career and family life. While the extent of these personal issues remains unclear, they likely contributed to the immense pressure and emotional turmoil Benoit was experiencing. Section 4. WWE's Reckoning and Industry Reforms. The Benoit tragedy sent shockwaves through World Wrestling Entertainment, the company that employed Benoit at the time. Initially, WE honored Benoit with a tribute show, unaware of the circumstances surrounding his death. As the horrific details emerged, the company swiftly reversed course, distancing itself from Benoit and removing all mentions of him from its programming and website. The tragedy forced WWE and the wrestling industry at large to confront uncomfortable truths about the well-being of its performers. The Benoit case brought to light the long-ignored issue of concussions and head trauma in professional wrestling. The potential link between Benoit's CTE and his actions spurred a movement towards increased safety measures and a greater emphasis on concussion management. WWE implemented stricter concussion protocols, including mandatory baseline testing for wrestlers and protocols for evaluating and managing potential head injuries. The company also introduced the Wellness Policy, a comprehensive program aimed at addressing drug use, providing mental health support, and promoting overall wrestler well-being. The Benoit tragedy served as a wake-up call for the entire wrestling industry. Other wrestling promotions followed suit, adopting similar safety measures and wellness programs. The tragedy, while rooted in darkness, ultimately spurred positive changes that continue to shape the industry today. Section 5. Remembering Nancy and Daniel lives tragically cut short. While the focus often centers on Chris Benoit and his descent into darkness, it is crucial to remember the true victims of this tragedy. Nancy and Daniel Benoit. Nancy, a former wrestling personality in her own right, was known for her vivacious personality and love for the business. Daniel, a bright and energetic 7-year-old, brought joy to those around him. Nancy's contributions to the wrestling world extended beyond her on-screen persona. She played a significant role behind the scenes, managing her husband's career and fostering relationships within the industry. Friends and colleagues remember her as a strong and independent woman who brought warmth and laughter to every room she entered. Daniel, full of life and innocence, was adored by his parents and those who knew him. He shared his father's passion for wrestling, often seen playing with action figures and mimicking wrestling moves. Those who knew Daniel remember his infectious laughter, his kind heart, and the boundless energy he brought to the world. Nancy and Daniel's lives were tragically cut short, their stories overshadowed by the horrific act that took them. It is essential to remember them not as victims of a tragedy, but for the vibrant individuals they were. Their memories serve as a reminder of the preciousness of life and the importance of cherishing those we love. Section 6. Mental health, a pressing concern in wrestling. The Benoit tragedy exposed a critical need for increased mental health awareness and support within the demanding world of professional wrestling. The high-pressure environment, the constant travel, and the physical toll of the job take a heavy toll on wrestlers' mental well-being. The industry's culture of silence and the stigma surrounding mental health issues often prevent wrestlers from seeking the help they need. Wrestlers, often portraying larger-than-life characters, may feel pressure to maintain a facade of strength and invincibility, even when struggling internally. The fear of appearing weak or jeopardizing their careers can prevent them from acknowledging their struggles and seeking help. This silence can have devastating consequences, as evidenced by the Benoit tragedy. Recognizing the urgent need for change, WWE and other wrestling organizations have taken steps to address mental health concerns within the industry. The implementation of wellness policies, which include access to mental health professionals, represents a positive step towards breaking down the stigma surrounding mental health and providing wrestlers with the support they need. Creating a culture where wrestlers feel comfortable seeking help without fear of judgment or repercussions is crucial. Encouraging open dialogue about mental health, providing access to resources, and fostering a supportive environment are essential steps towards protecting the well-being of these athletes. Section 7. The unforgiving nature of CTE. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, a degenerative brain disease, has cast a long shadow over contact sports, particularly professional wrestling. The repetitive head trauma inherent to the profession puts wrestlers at significant risk of developing this debilitating condition. The Benoit tragedy, with its potential link to CTE, brought the issue to the forefront, forcing the wrestling world to confront the long-term consequences of head injuries. CTE, which can only be definitively diagnosed post-mortem, causes a range of debilitating symptoms, including memory loss, mood swings, impaired judgment, and increased aggression. The progressive nature of the disease means that symptoms often worsen over time, leading to significant cognitive and behavioral changes. Benoit's case, while not definitively proving causation, demonstrated the potential link between CTE and violent behavior. The discovery of severe CTE in his brain raised serious concerns about the long-term impact of wrestling careers on brain health. This revelation prompted calls for increased research, improved safety measures, and a greater understanding of the risks associated with repeated head trauma. The wrestling industry has responded with measures to mitigate the risk of CTE, but the challenge remains significant. The very nature of the business involves physicality and the potential for head injuries. Balancing the entertainment aspect of wrestling with the long-term health of its performers will continue to be an ongoing challenge for the industry. Section 8. Substance abuse, a slippery slope. The demanding lifestyle of a professional wrestler, coupled with the pressure to maintain peak physical condition, can create a breeding ground for substance abuse. The Benoit tragedy brought to light the prevalence of painkiller and steroid use within the industry, highlighting the need for comprehensive wellness programs and a culture that prioritizes wrestler well-being. The physical toll of wrestling, with its bumps, bruises, and potential for serious injuries, often leads wrestlers to rely on painkillers to manage their pain and continue performing. This reliance can easily spiral into addiction, with devastating consequences. Similarly, the pressure to maintain a muscular physique and achieve success can lead wrestlers down the slippery slope of steroid use. The Benoit case, while not solely attributed to substance abuse, involved evidence of steroid use. This revelation fueled concerns about the potential link between performance-enhancing drugs and aggressive behavior, prompting the wrestling industry to reevaluate its policies and approach to wrestler wellness. The implementation of comprehensive wellness programs, including drug testing and access to addiction treatment, represents a positive step towards addressing substance abuse within the industry. Creating a culture of support where wrestlers feel comfortable seeking help without fear of judgment or repercussions is crucial in combating this issue. Section 9. The Ripple Effect. Benoit's legacy and industry changes. The Benoit tragedy sent shockwaves through the wrestling world, leaving an indelible mark on its history and prompting significant changes within the industry. The events of that fateful June forced a long overdue reckoning with the physical and mental demands of professional wrestling, and the need for a greater emphasis on wrestler well-being. Benoit's legacy, once celebrated for his in-ring prowess, became forever intertwined with the darkness of his final act. His story served as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of unchecked aggression, the devastating impact of brain trauma, and the importance of mental health awareness. The wrestling industry responded to the tragedy with a wave of reforms aimed at improving wrestler safety and well-being. WWE, along with other prominent wrestling organizations, implemented stricter concussion protocols, introduced comprehensive wellness policies, and increased access to mental health resources. These changes, while long overdue, represented a significant shift towards prioritizing the health and safety of the athletes. The Benoit tragedy served as a catalyst for change, prompting a cultural shift within the industry. The conversation around mental health opened up, encouraging wrestlers to speak out about their struggles and seek help without fear of judgment. The tragedy, while rooted in darkness, ultimately spurred positive changes that continue to shape the wrestling world today. Section 10, a call for action protecting wrestlers' well-being. The Benoit tragedy serves as a somber reminder of the importance of protecting the well-being of professional wrestlers. These athletes, who entertain millions with their strength and athleticism, often do so at a significant personal cost. It is imperative that the industry continues to prioritize their health and safety, both physically and mentally. Addressing the issue of head trauma remains paramount. While stricter concussion protocols and improved medical care are crucial, the very nature of wrestling involves physicality and the potential for head injuries. More research is needed to better understand and mitigate the long-term effects of repeated head trauma, and the industry must remain vigilant in its efforts to protect its athletes. Mental health support is equally critical. The demanding lifestyle, the pressure to perform, and the potential for career-ending injuries take a toll on wrestlers' mental well-being. Providing access to mental health professionals, creating a culture of support, and encouraging open dialogue about mental health are essential steps towards protecting these athletes. The well-being of wrestlers is not solely the responsibility of wrestling organizations, but also of fans, journalists, and the industry as a whole. By promoting a culture of respect, encouraging healthy boundaries between performers' personal and professional lives, and advocating for their well-being, we can collectively contribute to a safer and more supportive environment for these athletes. Section 11. The enduring impact, a tragedy never forgotten. The Chris Benoit tragedy remains a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the devastating consequences of unchecked aggression and mental instability. The events of June 2007 sent shockwaves through the wrestling world and beyond, leaving an indelible mark on the industry and serving as a catalyst for much-needed change. While the tragedy brought immense pain and forced a confrontation with uncomfortable truths, it also prompted positive action. The wrestling industry, once criticized for its lack of safety measures and support systems, responded with meaningful reforms aimed at protecting the physical and mental well-being of its performers. The Benoit tragedy serves as a constant reminder of the importance of mental health awareness, the potential impact of brain trauma, and the need for a culture of support and accountability within the demanding world of professional wrestling. While the scars of this tragedy remain, the lessons learned continue to shape the industry today. The wrestling community, forever marked by this tragedy, continues to honor the memory of Nancy and Daniel Benoit while grappling with the complex legacy of Chris Benoit. The events of that fateful June serve as a stark reminder that behind the larger-than-life personas and the entertainment spectacle lies a group of athletes deserving of our respect, support, and unwavering commitment to their well-being.